Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is a Sunday Live, Mass Page Tools and Leadgenmagic, DFY, and local SEO. And look who's on the screen, our very own friend here, Chris Palmer, an SEO friend. He's what everybody's friend in SEO. That's what your tagline is, right?
Yep, trying to be, well, everyone's favorite. I'm trying to be everybody's at least their favorite.
You're my favorite, so you're
Cool.
good there for sure. But we'll get to you coming up in just a little bit. Welcome to everybody. Just going to check around to see how our co-hosts here's weeks have gone. We've had a very wet week here in central New York where I am. I don't know about you, Chris. Chris isn't too far away from me, but it's just been rainy for the last few days. It's just been crazy.
Very, very rainy. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, weather in the UK has been absolutely scorching. Steve will probably attest to this, but this week, I mean, it's been approaching 30 degrees. So in the UK, that's a really big deal. So probably not where you guys are, but it's been absolutely roasting the last few days. So very hot.
So Stephen, how you staying cool in that shed there?
Well, it's amazing. Actually, it's an air-conditioned studio. Honestly, I mean, it hasn't got any green screen here. If you look, my hand doesn't really disappear. No, in our house, we just invested in an aircon unit because it got that hot that no one could bear it.
Yeah.
And but in here, I've got a cheap DFY fan here. Look, you see, so
okay.
Yeah, cheap little fan that if I switch it on, it sounds really noisy.
Yeah. Wow. Well, awesome. Well, we're going to take your guest questions like we do every single week. We're all going to give away a domain. We've got some exciting domains. Let me just flash on the screen. If you're just joining us, what kind of domains you can win today. Tilessolarroof.com, hireatechie.com, restorationprices.com, and localleadsites.com. All .com domains worth quite a bit of money, and you can win one of these for absolute nothing just for sticking with us, and we'll get your name into the wheel of names later on, and hopefully you get some great value from those domains. So what do we do? Let's go around the room to Simon and Steve and find out what we're going to talk about, and then we're going to jump right into our presentation today.
Yeah, sure. So this week I'm going to be talking about Google My Business again and talking about how to deal with Google My Business spam. So we've obviously seen a lot of spam listings out there, virtual addresses, all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to talk about how to deal with it and whether you want to be an angel or a devil in terms of your approach, whether you go with Google's terms of service or you want to take another approach. And obviously great to have Chris on here. I'm sure he'll have a few thoughts on it too. So that's what I'm going to cover off.
Awesome. Steve, what are you going to talk about?
I'm going to talk about a major update with Leadgenmagic, which involves Daryl's magic form, which I still think is fantastic. It's just the fact that I've been delaying some things because of some updates. I'll talk about that a bit later on. And also, I want to mention something to do with the contest we've been running with the DFY Magic themes. We've got a good announcement on that as well. And the freebie, I've got a freebie to give away as well. So we'll come to that in a little bit. And of course, we got the fantastic Chris with us tonight. And I'll tell you what, mate, I love all your SEO stuff. I follow it like mad.
Thank you. Awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I try.
He's one of the hardest working guys in the SEO YouTube business. I gotta say, he works his butt off, and
fun.
We love that about you, Chris. We absolutely do. Absolutely do. We got some new faces on here. So Paul Jobling, welcome. We got George saying hi, or Jorge. And we got Chris. Is that you? Is that your brother, Chris Palmer? Chris P?
No, I wish I was that handsome, but that's not me. I don't know the guy.
Awesome. And I'm going to talk a little bit about, we have an upcoming Mentorprise webinar with the owner of Mentorprise, Paul. We have been working on Mentorprise publishing for a little bit, and I have a breakthrough that we're going to give you access to if you join us on this webinar call and you purchase. I'm going to actually give you this code that we're using with Mentorprise publishing that is killing it. It's absolutely killing it. I'm talking, Chris, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
The first 7 rankings for a keyword in Google are all my sites with Mentorprise, and they're above Backlinko, they're above Neil Patel, and these are SEO things, and I'm going to show you guys that on the webinar.
Oh,
yeah. I don't want to
Nice.
show it on the YouTube channels, but
what's the keyword? Or is that the
that'll
show?
I'll show you. I'll show you.
It's Chris Palmer Marketing.
It's
Cool.
you're gonna,
Good.
yeah, you're gonna find me, and you're gonna be like,
I
In fact,
needed some help.
the secret is Chris actually, Chris. I'll tell you now, Darryl just copied your entire site without you realising, and put that up, and he beat you.
Yeah.
Wow. So
Cool.
we'll talk
Thanks.
about the date for that. That is coming up the 29th at 6:00 Eastern time. So, and I'm sure Chris is going to want to be on that one.
Yeah.
So
That sounds good.
it's really, really good stuff. So I'm just using it for affiliate, and it's amazing what that tool can do. And so we'll talk about that and how the form can work with it, because we're using our form to do this kind of crushing in the SERPs.
I like how you did that. I like how you did that. You're hey, I got this. I used this, and then here's how it works. And here, look at the result. That's cool, man. That's good.
Really killer. Really killer. All right. So without further ado, Simon, you want to get into your presentation? I'm going to mute myself, and we'll see what you got to store for us today, and maybe we'll get your feedback on it.
Yeah,
is that
that's
how you do
great.
it?
Yeah,
Do we mute?
yeah. Just you guys go on mute. I'll talk for a bit. Do a few slides, and then we'll get you guys in, and we'll get sort of questions and comments coming in as well. So that's great. It's a little bit awkward for me to be doing a local SEO presentation with you here, Chris, as well. So obviously I know you, and I've done some work with you and your group as well. So it's great to have you on board, and it'd be great to have your input on some of the slides as well. So yeah, Darryl, if you can just put the slides up. How do we do? Yeah, cool. So look, this is just about Google My Business spam, and we all have seen it and know it. So whether you're a local business or a lead gen business, whatever you're using your Google My Business for, we all know that Google My Business spam is widespread. So what I mean by spam are people spamming the business name, so putting sort of keywords, locations in the business name, people using virtual addresses or residential addresses, their home address, for example, and that's extremely common in a lot of local businesses, and people just put it there as a public address, and it's not a residential, it's not a business address, it's not something that Google is wanting to show as a location on Google My Business. And obviously the whole problem of fake reviews, and it is widespread. Google's doing things to try and deal with it, but people still do it because the truth is it often works. So things like keyword stuffing, the business name, unfortunately, does have an important effect on the on ranking factors, and it does actually help you. So there's a real question, a bit of a dilemma in terms of what we do in terms of Google My Business spam listings. Do we just ignore them? Do we join them? Do we start spamming ourselves, or do we do other things like reporting them? So I've got the dilemma there with the graphic with the angel and the devil. And I think this really depends on, whether you're working with your own listings, whether you're working with client listings, whether you are I'll say a real business with a real business premises, or whether you are using a virtual address, and what sort of location you're in. So I guess it's for you to decide what's best for your business, but there's a number of different approaches people can take, which I'll just sort of highlight some of them. So some of sort of black hat techniques, and what I mean by black hat are things that are not in line with Google's current terms of service, not necessarily illegal, but something I wouldn't recommend. So obviously use them at your own risk. So clearly putting your target keywords and location in your business name it does help you get ranked. There's no doubt about it. I've done it myself over the years, and it definitely works. If you make that change now, Google's is cracking down on this, and you're much more likely nowadays to be asked to re-verify or potentially have your listing suspended. Clearly, if that's your own listing, I guess you can decide to take that risk if you want to. But clearly, if you're with a client, you have to be significantly more careful. It's going to be awkward if you've gone down a route of more of a black hat approach, and your listing gets suspended for whatever reason. It's going to be more awkward to do that. But certainly spamming the business name alongside the other people that are spamming it will help, I'm afraid to say. Virtual addresses. So if you are using a virtual address, you may be challenged by Google at some stage and be asked to prove that your address is real. Now, different ways people try to prove this is by using a branded sign and pasting it onto the window or presenting it outside the premises. You can have business stationery printed. You might have a branded t-shirt. You might have a photo of you outside the premises. I think Chris has got a photo of himself outside his premises on his listing. You can have interior photos, which you may or may not have taken. You may be asked to put your business registration documents in as well. So these are various ways that people do it. I was looking at a listing only last week that was in a virtual address. The office is not manned, but they had a digital sign that they were able to take a picture of, and they'd used some stock photos or some photos off the virtual premises website, and that was enough. And they, despite suggest edits to get rid of them, they were staying there. So that's what they were doing. Fake reviews, definitely a dangerous territory, but if I was to encourage reviews, I would be looking for friends, family, and depending on your relationship, business contacts, ideally in the location where your GMB is based. That's going to be much lower risk than buying in reviews. There are a lot of Facebook groups out there where you can go on and swap a review, whatever. Certainly going to increase your risk of suspension and abuse, but certainly if you're looking to build up reviews, you could look to friends, family, and contacts in the sort of local area to help you. So these are sort of things that you could do to build up your own GMB, but without necessarily being aligned with the terms and conditions. White hat tactics. You have a lot of people will probably be aware of this, but you can suggest edits on listings, and this is really helpful. So if you want to, what I would recommend is look at your top 20 competitors, see the people that are on the maps, go through the listings. If they're not having their brand name there and they've added on keywords and locations, I would edit them in line with Google terms and conditions. I wouldn't do anything that was malicious, but it's perfect within your rights. And I think Google encourages it because it clearly wants clean GMBs. I would have them in line. So if they have a brand name on their website, which is so-and-so plumbing or photography or accountancy, I would edit it back to their name. An option that you've got, which is still white hat, is if you really wanted to have your business name including your keyword and location, you could actually change your own business name. It's a bit radical, but certainly some people do that. So if you wanted to be so-and-so plumber London, you could change your name to that, and even potentially your domain. So that's an option. Virtual addresses, I go through all my competitors and look down and edit them in line with terms of service, or both on business names, but also virtual addresses. And I'm a photographer, which a number of you people, you guys know. So most people have virtual residential addresses, so it's very easy just to go through. So what I recommend there is suggest edit, use the close or remove option, and report as not open to the public, and that's what you can do anonymously. You can add a photo in, although I gather that makes it not anonymous, but certainly you can go through, suggest edits, and mark people as not open to the public, and that will very quickly clear out the vast majority of businesses that tend to be really service area businesses, but maybe more likely a residential address. Fake reviews. I think if you were to use Google My Business's report review option, I think you'd have to be very sure and have good grounds to know that there was a fake review there. But you can certainly do that as an option. And there's also a form if you felt something's fraudulent or misleading. It's a new form that Google's launched, so it gives you the option to add that in as well. But the white hat tactics, I think, in many business situations, if you're in a smaller business area, cleaning local business names and suggest editing on virtual addresses. I do a little and often. I wouldn't fire through 100 in a day. I found that if I'm doing maybe more than 5 or 6, the first 5 or 6 seem to go through without any change at all, and they're just automatically accepted. I'm a local guide level 6. I found that if I'm putting 10, 20 through, they start to then get in the review queue. Most of them go through, but the review can take weeks, months, obviously with things at the moment. So that would be my suggestion. Just drip feed, 5 or 10 through and see how you go, and that would be it. So that's my kind of top tips on GMBs, and there's a few links up there as well, which I've shared before, but if anybody wants a call or a chat, there's my links. Happy to have a chat. So just open up to the floor really, or if anybody's got any questions, or we can also have a chat with Daryl and Steve. It'd be good to have a look at that.
I was going to say, Simon, when it comes down to getting yourself these addresses. There's a few options. If you are a lead gen business, right, one little tip is you're going to be bringing in people buying leads from you. So offer them some free credits and say in return to accept a GMB. Right now, what I normally do when I do that, I get it, and either if they're happy to leave the address up, I will. If they're not, I will make it a service area GMB, so I've got it anyway. The other way is there are companies online where you can actually rent proper addresses from. That's another thing I do. In the USA and the UK, you can do it. And one of the other things that I have done is I've contacted in the UK the post office to say during COVID I had to move out my office urgently, and I haven't been able to forward my address. They say send a letterhead and you can do a divert. So then you can pick any office in your local area that's got multiple offices for rent. They find an empty office, give them that address, and then only have it pay for it for 3 months. Get your GMB done, and then it's all approved. The other thing I will say when it comes to reviews, if let's say that you are a proper business, a photographer, and you're getting bad reviews, you say, what do I do? The best thing you can do with your bad reviews is not panic, just respond to them. If it's someone that you've never heard of before, just pop in a message. Hi, sorry to hear you're upset, but we don't have any records of you on our books. Please, could you reach out to us on our support email and we'll respond to you. And I think by responding in that way, people will see you're professional and happy. Don't get angry. Don't get nasty online, because the worst thing you can do in business. Always be nice and polite and professional and respond to everything.
Yeah, 100%. That last bit of advice there, absolutely. That is the best response, because you don't want to get emotional. And that's the response that, I mean, Google might not take the review down. Most likely they won't. It's going to be probably left there, and that'll be seen for months, years to come. And that how you come across it as professional, people will go, well, maybe it is a fake review. Maybe, people are aware that these things come up, and that's going to stand you in much better stead than saying you're trying to slag off my business or whatever you're going to say sort of emotionally. So that's 100%. That's the right advice.
Do you want to say anything, Darryl?
I was going to say I'm gonna agree with everything Chris Palmer says.
Well, let's see what Chris has got to say then.
Well, wait, let's see what he says.
I mean, for me, generally, the reviews as far as ranking is pretty much irrelevant, but as far as the actual click and being able to generate more customers, they look at the reviews. The score or the star amount doesn't necessarily matter. It's the reviews in the top 3 that Google showcases, right? The endorsement reviews. So what I have found is if we can get more relevant reviews in there, right? And to make a review more relevant, if you can have a reviewer put a photo into the review, that becomes the most relevant review. Then we're able to get, if there's a negative one in there, we're able to knock those out and push those down by having more relevant reviews in those top 3. So as long as we don't have them in the showcase review section, the negatives, it doesn't necessarily matter. Definitely not for rankings, just for getting that click. So if you're running into that trouble, on the next reviews you get, make sure they're making them more relevant. How do you make them more relevant? By adding photos, more words, more co-occurring words. It's a lot better. So that's the review tip. As far as what Simon said, I have something on that. I believe in SEO karma, right? So if I see these businesses, virtual addresses, or anything like that, I would go with step 1, ignore, right? And just stay on your path. Just stay on your path. Keep trying to be fruitful for your family and your business, and just keep moving, because the sludge is going to get wiped away anyway. So just keep moving forward. I would just leave it go. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, and the thing is who wants to build their business on a hack? That's what I always say is, like, look long term and say, okay, when is this exact match in the business name not going to be a thing with Google? If you've been at this as long as I have, exact match domains used to be the thing, and you had to have that. Well, now it's exact match, but the shortest that domain can be, that gives you an SEO advantage. But it's always a slippery slope when you start to say, oh, we found this great hack, right? And we're going to do this. And we're going to spend our life savings and our time and treasure on this hack. And then all of a sudden, with 1 or 2 key clicks over there in Mountain View, it disappears. And you don't have that hack working for you. And now you can't feed your kids. You can't pay your rent. You can't pay, So I say, look, if it's a hack, don't build your business around that kind of thing. I would put my real business name, even if it didn't have the exact match in there. I would put my real address or get myself a decent address. But don't try to I don't do GMBs. I'm the wrong guy to ask because I've never cheated Google out of a GMB before. I've never done it. But other people are way slicker than me at GMB, so I'll just shut my mouth.
Do you know something? I don't cheat the system. I play the system. And what I mean by that is I've got friends and family in different towns across the UK that have kindly accepted a GMB for me, and they're happy for their address to be put up. I will cheat a little bit. I'll put like Suite 1 and their address rather than their full address. And if someone knocked on the door and went, "Where's the carpet cleaning company?" They can say, "Well, that's Suite 1. Where's that?" Well, we don't know because we've had other people knock on our door. So they can cover themselves there. But I prefer actually, once I own a GMB, to actually make it a service area GMB so the address doesn't show in lead generation. It doesn't matter. I know some people, I don't know what Chris thinks of this, but when it comes to physical GMBs, do you think there's a difference between those and service area GMBs?
It depends on the SERP. If I'm looking at the top performers and they're showcasing an address, I need to show my address in order to compete. You know, it just depends who's winning. If I see address, and 4 reviews, 2 reviews, 3 reviews, then I know, okay, I need this many reviews. Okay, here's what this is. I need to show my address. They're usually probably in the same vicinity. You know, I just want to see what's Google rewarding. And that's always. But
also, I know Google rewards proper businesses. If you're building a lead generation business, build your GMB up properly. I say it's time and time again, don't change the app, name, address, and phone number once you set it up, and add extra content on there. Add photos of yourself or someone doing the work. So if you've got like landscape gardeners working for you, say, can have some photos of some of the jobs you've done, and then post them on there, and give them some credits for that. It's about content being added properly so that it looks like a proper physical business. If you're running a physical business like a photographer or something like that, you're going to build it properly as a local business. And so that's the sort of white hat workaround when you're doing lead generation and you want a GMB for it, is build it properly like any business. Build the foundation, don't build it on quicksand.
Yeah, I mean, name, address, phone number. I mean, those changes are triggering lots of re-verifications, and I think Google's doing that a lot more. So you really want to set out on a bit of a long-term path. And if you have spammed the name, if you have to make any changes, it's probably, they're probably going to ask you to re-verify. So you could have a situation where you have a bit of a cascade. So you've got a problem with the name, you might have a problem with the address, maybe you've got other issues on it, maybe you've got some fake reviews, and then the whole thing then gets reviewed because one change that you made, because you didn't set up the business name in the right way, really. So I'd probably a straight bat would be my approach on it. But I mean, other techniques, they do work, and I can see them working. But suggest editing somebody's business name is so easy, and it in most cases in the sort of industries I'm looking at, it gets accepted pretty much straight away in most cases. So it's such an easy thing for people to attack you on. I would just go with your brand name as the main one and clean up your competitors.
You know what they say, karma's a bitch, and so is Google.
I own about 8 different Google accounts, and I do reviews regularly in various areas across the UK on them, and they're all about the same sort of level. They're moving up all the time. I don't do it all the time because if I did it week in, week out, it may look a bit spammy. So I'll go on to one and put a review here and there. And sometimes I'll say I'll be nice to the competitor. I'll put a review in there months before I plan on doing a review on my site. So then that person on my fake Google account has put a review on one of the sites, then use me and put a review on there also. So Google then sees that karma there, thinking, well, they've used both companies now, it must be okay, And I mean, I've got some accounts with some quite good levels. I forgot what it's called, Chris. You remind me when you leave reviews and you go up on the levels. I'm trying to remember what it's called.
A local guide.
That's it, local guide. Yeah.
That's another trick too at knocking them down. I just remembered. How a lot of company and business owners are going to take their reviews and showcase them on the site, whether it's in an accordion or behind they hide them sometimes, or it'll be off a link. What I noticed too is if you copy those, say the bad ones or even some good ones, I noticed for some reason when you duplicate it and move it over to the website, it'll knock them down as being the most relevant. because I don't, you know, I'm thinking about this guy who was like asked that question, like how can you get those to disappear for him, you know? Yeah, by duplicating them. I think there's something there with the relevance of the review because you have it, it's like duplicated or something. I'm not sure, but it works. So hopefully that helps that guy.
I once worked with a client who was obsessed in a very bad way about all his Google reviews and Facebook reviews. And I just said to him, forget about them. Do a nice response. He said, but I got my competition is putting up bad reviews. I said, just respond and say, you know, please submit you know, an email to us with a copy of your receipt. And because we've got no record of you, you may be getting confused with someone else, and we're glad you look into it, you know. And then you can always go back at a later date and put another comment up going, well, we never had a response from this person, you know. But it's always, you know, I'll state this again, always be professional in what you're doing.
Yeah, you can edit the response, can't you? So that gives you some latitude. If the situation develops, you can always add something or change what you originally said. Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of karma, if you're watching this today and getting some value, or you just like the way we look, go ahead and hit the like button and make sure you share it as well. If you don't like it, hit the thumbs down twice. I heard that from another video guy. Just hit the thumbs down twice if you hate us, okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's all good karma. It's all good karma, isn't it? You know,
yeah.
Good and bad reviews works brilliant. In fact, if you own a GMB and every review is perfect, it's going to look a bit sus. You want to maybe sometimes it's on, but a little bit, you know, one bad review. So what? You know, just do a nice little response to it. People know you're human at the end of the day.
That's it.
Thanks, Ted, for your comment.
Thanks, Ted. Awesome. So,
yeah.
Steve, you've had a busy week. Let's hit what you've got. Be conscious of the time a little bit because I'm
going to keep it short because we got, you know, Chris on board and it's not all the time where we get an SEO expert that I'm in awe with, you know. So first of all, I'm going to get straight to the point and show you this giveaway, right? And I'm keen to show it because it's been mentioned in a few groups already. Let me quickly share my screen and I'll show you this page. I've done a link on a page as well anyway, but on this page here, if you go to dfimagicthemes.com/mpp/mpp-3, and I'll put the details in all the groups, you'll be able to fill in the form lower down. I'm just trying to lower it down on my screen. Here we are. You'll fill this form in and you'll get the information on it links you through, and Magic Page plugin, for those that don't know, builds multiple local pages. And at the moment, Mike Martin is offering it for free if you go and purchase his book. So if you want to find out more information, I'll put the links in the group in a bit. dfimagicthemes.com/mpp/mpp-3, and you'll get an email come through with all that information in there. The other thing I want to share with you guys is an update on the actual contest. Now, myself and Robert were talking, and we're giving away 5 of these themes. So that it's electrician, gardener, painter, pest control, and web design. They work with Magic Page plugin. They got all the content. They got the SEO done. They got the schema done. And also you'll be able to build out multiple local pages. We say 250 at first, but you can build a lot more, you know, after that. Now, if you go to dfimagicthemes.com/win, you can enter on here. And we had a few comments where people are going, well, if I join now, the people who joined on this contest at the start have got an unfair advantage, which is sort of technically true, but we've got about 12 to 15 people who are in the lead literally by a few points. So what we've said is anyone who goes to this now and they join in, we're going to take the average number of entries they've entered in, and we're going to do a second winner. So we're going to have a second winner who's going to win 5 of the done for you themes. They're going to win access to the Inner Circle mentoring group, and you'll be able to on that we'll be doing regular training to show you from start to finish how to build these sites out. So that's the main 2 things. I'll in a bit when other people are talking, I'll put the links in the group, but we just wanted to share that right now with you guys because we tried to do a second giveaway for everyone. I think that's everything I wanted to share for now, apart from the fact that I wanted to say a little bit with SEO. Magic Page plugin, the new version, has SEO built in, has sitemaps built in. So anyone who hasn't upgraded to 6.3, go and do it. But I do recommend backing up your sites first if you've got existing sites. The final bit of news, and I'll just come back on the screen to share that with you guys, is Leadgenmagic.com, which was my original product where I do themes, and the themes work with Daryl's Magic Form. Because of the upgrades with MPP and a few upgrades with the form, it became very difficult for me to keep up to date with all the Xfield themes. What we are now going to do is we're going to build out a cloud with sections in that's going to work with Gutenberg blocks, and literally you'll be able to just pull in a section, pull in the section, pull in the section, and they're going to have all of the Xfields ready in play for you. So what that means is you're going to say, I have a header section, and it's all going to work with Daryl's form, the whole lot. It's going to take me, my developers, a good month to build, and a lot of investment in this. So the people who got in a lifetime, you got a crazy deal back then. And but we're going to do all of that in there as we go along. So that's the future update with that. And as soon as it's ready, I'll demo it and show people. It's going to be super exciting.
Awesome. That's a great news. We were talking about that off air, and we're really, really excited about that, Stephen. And we're also looking forward to talking to Chris more informally after we get the business out of the way. And we're going to let you talk to Chris as well. We're going to give you the guest line. It's not open yet, but we'll have it open for you to come in and ask 1 or 2 questions to Chris. No more than that. Give everybody a chance. And we can't promise that we're going to be here till midnight, but we'll of course give you guys a chance to actually talk to Chris and to get your SEO questions in there. My God, I'd like to ask all the questions, but I think we'll share with that. And also coming up, we still have a chance for you to win a domain from my domain collection. Here are the domains: tilesolarroof.com, which would be a huge moneymaker for somebody, hireatechie.com, restorationprices.com, and localleadsites.com. You get to pick A, B, C, or D coming up just a little bit after we get the names and everything in here. So yeah, they're good names, and you can use them for your own lead gen, or you can sell them, whatever you'd like to do. But it's just our little thank you for having you join us on here. So again, if you like what you're seeing, go ahead and hit like, subscribe if you can, and we appreciate that. So what I'd like to do is share a little bit about what I've got going on. Let me see if I have the, okay, it's ready to go. Let's see. So I don't know, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we have until midnight today. I sent out an email to folks about Siphon AI that we have the lifetime deal that we brought back. The prices increased from the pre-sale, but we're giving you a second chance, so to speak, to get it at 20% off. The reason why you want Siphon AI is a developing product. We have a video where you can see it on siphonai.com. But the nice thing is we're having an API key that can take what we do with Siphon and put it into other softwares. So we've been talking to like Matt DeCruz at DMT, some other developers about using Siphon inside of their applications. So we'll be able to use it, and you'll be able to take your API key and put it into those programs. So I would, if I were you, get this for the long haul and go ahead and get the discount while you can, because the price of Siphon will be going up once we add all those other features. Okay, so this is where you get the deal. It's not an uppercase here. I don't think. Well, maybe it is. Actually, I think it is. Let me just take it and pop this in.
I have to say as well, right, and I'm not going to give anything away, but me and Daryl had lots of conversations about various stuff. And I do have to say that the future with Siphon and the form and other things that Daryl's going to introduce is super exciting. And I know that the value is going to increase the price of these products in the future to keep maintaining them, keep them going. So if you can afford to get in now, do get in, because I think it's going to be a great opportunity. You know, it's like any product, you know, with what I'm doing with Leadgenmagic in the future, the price is going to go up. So anyone who's got their price at the moment locked in on that, or you got in a lifetime, you got a great deal, seriously. And it's the same with these products that you get in now, because as we develop these better and better, and we give you more and more value, the price will go up to support the products.
Yeah, so if you have the enterprise with my form and our other tools, you get all of the other tools, plus you get Siphon, and you get unlimited credits each month within the application. But the API credits are going to be limited, and I'm not sure how much those will be limited to, but we'll have that. But you're only going to get the API with the agency or the enterprise. So you have to do at least the 47 a month or the 97 a month, but you get that coupon code right now, and it gives you a discount, and you'll be able to use those credits. So, I mean, if you want to think of it as a future investment, feel free to do that. The tool does work, and it works really well. We have some more updates we've been working on this weekend for the first level. We're going to have on the slider 3 levels because we wanted to perfect the first two and make them better. So we've combined them and done some things to make it a little bit better for those. So we'll have some updates on that this week. And we're very excited about the people that want to partner with us on Siphon for their tools as well. So it goes beyond the mass page community. These are other businesses that want to have Siphon built into their tools. Okay, so that's that. The other thing that I want to tell you is okay, so Menterprise is another product. And they're a great bunch of guys. And I've supported this since the beginning of Menterprise. I think Menterprise Publishing. So I think it was like just a year before the pandemic started, I got Menterprise Publishing. And I did a few things with it. Didn't have a lot of success right off the bat, I'll be honest with you. And I just kept waiting to see what would happen. And I got busy with building all of our stuff. So I just kind of let it sit for a while. And I came back to it. I talked to Paul about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. And he says, Daryl, you got to do something with this. You're paying for it. Go ahead and build out these pages. So I built 200,000 pages. And I just said, okay, I'm just going to try to see what happens. I built them over a weekend, and I didn't do anything, okay? I used all of the mass page stuff that I know and put it into these pages, right? I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said, yeah, I built these pages. I didn't really look at it, but I've been getting a lot of affiliate traffic, and I was wondering. So I went back and looked at those pages, okay? And I started to reverse engineer because I didn't see anything coming up with Ahrefs and SEMrush, a whole lot of things. But I just reverse engineered some of the title tags that we had in there. And we were ranking for some of these title tags, or just like sections of the title tag, the top 8 places in Google above some major websites, okay? I was stunned. I called back Paul the other day, and I said, this is unbelievable. And he looked at how much traffic I was getting in just a month and a half. Some of these pages had just in a month and a half, had just on the one page, almost 100 hits on just one page on 200,000 pages. Okay. So if you have the ability to get on this webinar, whether you already have Menterprise yourself, or you want to get it through my affiliate link, because there will be an affiliate link, because I'm trying to build it up, and I'll help coach you. And I'm going to give some special bonuses to people that get on this and buy it from my link. Okay. I'm going to guide you exactly how I did this. All right. So go ahead to go to go.ht/Menterprise. It's MENTER prize.com. And we're going to have Paul, the owner of Menterprise, on there. And we're going to talk about this tool because it blows my mind. I've been in Mass Page for so long, and when I built this and I look back and I just forgot it. I mean, I did what I tell everybody. I said, look, build your pages, forget it for 30 days, and go back and look at it and do your recon and find out what went right, what went wrong, and build upon that, because that's what I did. So I just went back and I just tweaked a few things, and I know we're going to get a lot more hits because I just slapped them up there. I didn't even have affiliate offers on 80% of the pages. So I just put affiliate offers on them because I've got all that traffic. We're getting sales almost every day off the affiliate, and I barely scratched the surface on it. So not to be a salesy guy, I'm just trying to tell you, when I discover something that gets me excited, I think you guys should get excited too, because I've been at this since the late 90s, and I've seen it all. I've seen things, work and not work. And when you get almost the entire page in Google above backlinko, above neilpatel.com. I mean, these guys have huge domain authorities, and my little Mentorprise sites are coming up way above them right now. And I can show that on this webinar. So it's good stuff. Chris, you should even be on this. It's gonna be pretty cool to see. I'm looking forward to showing it off. All right.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
sounds
It's
great.
a date.
it's a date. Yeah, gotta register for that. So, yeah, so awesome. So I thought what we would do now is just kind of go around the room and let us ask a few questions to Chris. I've got some ideas of some questions, maybe 1 or 2 questions from each of us to just kind of get the thing rolling. And then we're going to open it up for your questions after we do our contest. Okay, so we'll do our contest for the domain, then we'll open up for guest lines. So we're not rushed to do those questions. So does any of the guys here in the room want to ask a few questions to Chris?
Yeah, I'll ask a question. I'm always interested about how people end up in SEO, particularly local SEO, because I've had my own journey getting into it, and Steve and Daryl have got their own kind of thoughts as well. But you're obviously well known on YouTube and well established in terms of your name. But how did you get to this point? I mean, what made you think, right, I'm an SEO that today where you weren't yesterday? How did you get here?
Well, between like Fiverr, Black Hat World, local stuff, once I had enough practice with other people's budget, I just decided that, hey, and I was watching other guys on YouTube, and I'm watching what's out there. I'm seeing, what I'm doing and what I know, and I'm like, man, these are the pros. I was like, I know triple, quadruple this amount. So I had tons of practice, and I wanted to expand my business, obviously. So that's pretty much how I came to this point.
How long did that take? I mean, is to go from kind of zero to full SEO expert, is there kind of timeline or?
Well, I started dabbling in 2009. So from 2009 until now, it took me to be able to say, hey, I got this down, like to be able to take another person's money and be very confident that I could fulfill on the promise.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a long time. That's awesome.
Cool. Yeah, cool. Thanks for that. Yeah.
What about you, Steve?
I wanted to know from Chris, and I've done SEO for some years now, and it changes all the time. What would you say is the most common mistake people make with their own SEO when they're trying to do it themselves without following maybe an expert like yourself?
The most common mistake is not remembering the fundamentals. The most common thing I see consistently is chasing the newest idea and trying this and doing this and doing this and doing this instead of, okay, I build a page. What's ranking? Okay, that's how many words. Okay, it has how many heading tags? Okay, how many images do I need? Okay, right? Let's optimize the title tag, URL, H1. Let's make sure we have the images. Is there a form? Okay, we have a form. Does it have a video? Right? By not following the fundamentals consistently on every single page, I see that over and over. And that's another piece too that I see a lot. It's not an overall thing. One page, one idea. We rank. It's like each page is its own campaign. I see that over and over and over again. So those are probably the biggest that I see.
I also find in the IM world, all these products that come out and they go, be on page 1 tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
And you just know that's not going to work. You have to, like anything, and I said this earlier, it's like when you build a business up, right? A physical business, say you want to build a carpet shop, you're not just going to go and stick 2 rugs in the front window and hope you're going to sell some carpets. You're going to build the business up properly. And I think it's the same with all of that, with the same with SEO. And I mean, as you know, Chris, Google's changing forever. And another mistake I've realized people make is they focus on Google more than the other search engines. There's Bing. There are others that you can get yourself in and get traffic from as well. Not maybe as much, but just as good, solid traffic. So it's not always all Google, but Google, as we know, is the number one. And they're forever changing the goalposts, aren't they?
1,000,000%. But I mean, 80%, 90% of, you guys know, Daryl, I'm sure you guys have been doing this probably longer than me. It's pretty much been the same. Optimization is it's been the same. Yeah, there's a little bit, but the fundamentals are pretty much the same.
The thing that is not the same is the hacks. Like the on-page fundamentals absolutely have not changed. And the fact that Google's intention to serve the right answer to the search question has not changed. And if you follow those guidelines and say, this is, there's all these patents, there's all of this knowledge that's out there that you can look into and really validate all of this stuff. But the thing is the real fundamentals is 70% of the game. You might find a few black hat hacks that will work long term, just because I'm just thoroughly impressed that click-through rate is a tool that someone can use, because I think click-through rate's going to be here for 20 years because it's an important signal back to Google. And if you're a savvy click-through rate user, now Google's always going to be threatened by click-through rate manipulation, because they're always going to try to find out whether you're doing it right or doing it through a scam or through a bot or through proxies or anything like that. But I am one of those black hat things that I'm impressed with is CTR manipulation.
Me too. Definitely. You have it right. If you can get paid on the clicks that you're generating, you got it right.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about, you are kind of the guy for CTR manipulation, you and Holly Starks. I mean, you guys have really been in the trenches with that. Is there any kind of power tip that you can say that, this is the 80-20. If you do this, you're going to get 80% of there with CTR?
For somebody, just a normal user, for a very low cost, you can buy 5 to 8 devices. And with just one SIM card, you can utilize those devices and get a massive benefit for your local business or your small business or for your Google Maps listing. I'm sorry, what was were you looking for a specific?
No, I think that's great. I mean, I've kind of followed that, but as far as your geo settings for that phone, if you're in the same position with that, let's say you got an old Android phone, right? And you stick the SIM card in there and you do the proper stuff with CTR. Does it have to be in a different geographical location, or is Google not paying attention to that data string?
Yeah, I think that's one way to cover your tracks. I mean, I've had the same result from sitting in the same exact place or hiring people that are authentic people from out of the country. I think that's a good way to really cover your tracks, because you never know what changes are coming, but you can get massive benefit. It doesn't necessarily matter if you're in the location, outside the location. Real people generating real clicks and actually clicking through and then ending the session is a positive result every time.
Yeah. I was just shopping at Best Buy the other day and did a couple searches on their demo phones.
Yeah.
The library.
I'm working on a I was just working with Holly. I'm putting together a physical network so I could get enough people to I just worked with Holly to be able to get a massive amount of devices. So because the physical is the way to go. It has to be real. I've tried every way possible. Nothing does it like a physical device.
I'm in some groups, interestingly enough, online that people are happy to click on your link providing you click on their links. And one of the groups I was in, the rule is that you have to scroll through a couple of pages just to make it fair on Google. I don't know, if staying on the page, how long you stay on matters to Google as much as the click-through rate, but you can share your link, and as long as you're doing your fair part, then people are happy for you to be there, and everyone moves up together as such.
Yeah, well, as long as at the beginning of a session, if there was a query initiated, how to mop floors, I do a search, I click on your listing, go to a page, click through to another page, hang tight for a little bit, and then end the session as if the user actually had their query answered. That's like
Well, but a lot of people,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't do that. That's why it's good to control it yourself, because you can do it properly, and the other stuff is can just be a waste of your time and money. The other thing is, I was going to ask you, we like I was talking about earlier, when we dominated a search result in a month and a half, we're obviously getting that sweet spot with Google for that little bit to get CTR tested and all of those kinds of things, right? So some of those army of websites are going to fall. Some are going to stay, right? We know that that's going to happen from my previous example, right? So that's the sweet spot where CTR is the most important. Am I right, Chris? Is when Google's giving you a chance to be up there above Backlinko, above Neil Patel, right? I don't deserve to be there. I mean, these guys have got fantastic content. I've just got some mass page stuff up there.
But query deserves diversity. Sometimes some people get lucky. And that is the prime opportunity. If you have been rewarded and you're in position, and just so happens that Google picked you on this one, and that happens consistently, you want to become the best answer. So now we have to prove that ranking. If you start generating clicks now and high dwell times and good click-through rate, clicking through multiple and then going back, ending the session, that's the prime opportunity. And 2, favoring is a big deal. Like, you could launch 100 pages and, they could be perfect pages, but still only 1 or 2 will make it. So I think you're in the prime position, Daryl. That is the time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I noticed, this is why I say CTR is king, because content is obviously king, but CTR is the queen, okay? Because if you do CTR in that critical stage where Google just gave you a number 2 position, or number 3 or 4 or 5, you do a little bit of that, and then you talk about this on your channel a lot. You do a little bit of that, you're headed to number 1 or number 2 so much better if you left it to the wild to pick you.
Well, everybody that launches a new page, Google tests. You'll see it inside of, and every page gets tested. But if you don't generate a positive result during that testing phase, sometimes it's only a day, it might be 2 days. Because you'll see as soon as you launch a page, boom, you're all the way up there. That is the opportune time. If you don't get at least a click or 2 and some high dwell time and answering the query, you're gonna plummet every time. So you can test it. I tested it a trillion times. Launch a page during that testing phase. Hey, it's going to be up there for at least a day or 2. That's when you start sending in your clicks. If you can do that, I guarantee you might not stay up where you were, but you might, top of second page, bottom of first.
Okay.
Pretty much. Depending on the query, obviously.
Now we've had some text questions come in. If you guys are watching on YouTube or Facebook, go ahead and put your questions in. We'll see it right here in the studio, and we'll go ahead and we'll answer those questions. But before I answer some of our questions from the community, I do want to say, put your name in the chat as well in about 5 minutes. Get ready to put your name in the chat in about 5 minutes, because we're going to give away on the top of the hour one of my domain names, and you'll have a chance to win that. But first, we're going to go to the question here. From Ian. Ian asked, Chris, what is happening with your cell phone network for CTR?
So I'll have 60 phones are arriving tomorrow. I have the okay to get the licensing for the remote IT support. I already have the 2 VAs. That's golden. So I have the VAs. I have the devices. I already have the licenses in the works. It's just a matter of getting the devices, setting them up, setting up the personas, and then I'm just going to start looking for people. What I want to do is get the hardware into people's hands, so then I could sell them the software, the queue. Yeah.
Chris, can I just ask you, because we're going to have people on here that probably haven't met you before, and that was a great question there. Can you just explain about what the software is going to do, and will it benefit most people, or what areas?
Well, I'm primarily focused. It could benefit everyone, but some people are going to have a much more positive result, because I'm looking for wins right from the door so I can sell more, right? It's not a software. It's more of a hardware with a software front end, because there needs to be some type of a queuing system. There has to be a system in place to be able to place orders, and there has to be structure. But it's primarily a physical phone that's sent to you. all you have to do is plug in and keep on. And then you're able to initiate on the front end. Hey, I want these searches, this search, this search, this search, this search. And then it's preferred by a real user.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is that going to be a product that you're going to launch at some point officially when it's all together?
1,000,000%. Yeah. I really want to keep it private, kind of, because I'm only going to do 50 at first, just to make sure everything functions properly. Yeah, for sure.
And will this work worldwide, or is it just USA only initially?
No, I'm looking to do USA and UK. That's where I prominently want to operate. I'd like to do these regions. Seems to be the absolute best for us. And I want to primarily, definitely at first, focus on local and Google Maps. Awesome. That's where the biggest wins are, because there's smaller volumes. There's less volume to actually get the result. Like some plumber in Utah, he only needs 3 clicks for 5 of his primary keywords. So some guy trying to rank on YouTube, that's why. It's too much. I'm
going to be following you. I'll be looking forward to that. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. I've been thinking about that for the past year, because I was trying to do cloud emulators, and it's just too expensive. Plus, people have to give you control of their system. There's just too much. So to remedy that issue, I can just give you the as part of the sign up, I can send you the hardware. That's the best.
Awesome.
Anyway.
We got a couple more things from the community before we give away the domain. Make sure you put your name inside of the chat, just first name or your full name, and we'll go ahead and put it on the wheel of names that you see right there, and you get to pick if your name comes up from our list of domains. So Robert asked the question, can you clarify on the SEO course from the one earlier in the year? And what have you been waiting for? Is that question, Robert? I wonder if that's for Simon or if that.
No, I think he's talking. Remember the other week you mentioned it as well, Dale. That I think some people got a course from you or something.
Oh, yeah. That is coming up. I've been just preparing for it. I've been building some pages out with the new system. So we will have that probably. I have a funeral that I'm going to out of state, and a family member passed away, and we're going to get through that. And then afterwards, I'll be ready for that. So probably the early part of August, we'll probably have that. And I hope to have some really cool things. I'm doing a lot of experimenting right now. And so I want to make sure that we get some good value on the course. And that's why we're holding up. But yeah, Robert, thank you so much for the question. And I think you're in the course, so you're all set to go.
So that course that Dan was talking about was the course that he sold earlier in the year, and the other, the Menterprise webinar one is separate. I think that's where maybe he's getting confused with. Robert, say yes in the chat. I'm right.
Okay, so he's getting confused with the Menterprise is
possibly,
it's Menterprise Publishing, and that's how we got these crazy results. So I want to show what I did to a small group of people on a webinar call. Be expected, if you're going to get into Menterprise, it's going to cost you between $500 a month to $1,000 a month to kind of get started. So if that's outside of your price range, and no matter what, you wouldn't go after that, definitely don't. But this is for large scale. I'm using it for affiliate, and you think that's a high price tag. I've made, just from what I've tracked from that, over $1,500, and I'm only paying, I think, about $500 a month for it. So to me, I'd triple my money anytime and give some money to Paul for a nice piece of software. So it is fair,
I see Ted said the biggest mistake I see is people paying large amounts of money to companies that say they are SEO experts but are not.
Yeah, they may have been SEO experts from knowledge from 6 years ago, but a lot of these SEO companies are using not the best practices for today, which we talked about with Chris, is the fundamentals. And a lot of people I hate to see SEO companies say, oh, we're going to give you this many backlinks and this many guest posts and this many this, and that's not how you do SEO, folks. You do SEO based on what the domain needs. You don't do it based on what some kind of checklist is. I've always said this, and I'll say it again. Every domain is different. every domain needs different treatment in an SEO thing. And a talented SEO can take a look at that and say, okay, I don't need more backlinks. I need more proper structure, or I need more, in title keywords, or things like that, a schema or something that'll help with the mobile views, and so you don't get your mobile bounce rate. There's a lot of things that you got to look at, and a real talented SEO can't just say, oh, we're going to give you this many of this and this many of that. It just doesn't work that way.
I love that. $2,500 a month, you're going to get 10 pages. You're going to get your guest post. I'm like, wait, whoa. How do you know that that's what I need?
Right.
I just want to get people on the phone. Let me get you on the phone. Let's see what you need. Then we can talk about numbers from there.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Chris, we got you on here. I'm going to put Colin and Quentin here and Ted. But do you take customers? If I wanted to call you and I had a decent budget, could we even call you and talk to you?
1,000,000%. You can call and talk to me, but like I just spoke to a customer that I took on about 2 weeks ago now. I'm very particular now, right? Mm-hmm. I'm looking for sites that are pretty much established, kind of, in a way. They're a real business in a real location. They just need some optimization, primarily backlinks, content. I don't want somebody that just started. They want to do TV mounting and they started a site 2 weeks ago. That's not my guy. I get a lot of those. I'm looking for real businesses, primarily.
Yeah, I kind of am a little bit like you. I don't have time to take on SEO clients, really. But if it's a project that I'm just excited about, and I would want to do it, anyway, or I like the person a lot, I might take it on just to kind of do it for enjoyment. But I usually do it on a consulting level. I basically will say, all right, this is what we need. You can go out and get it from somewhere else, but just pay me for my time, and I'll tell you where you need some help.
That's where I try to lean. It just depends on the budget, really.
I don't have the time to do like I used to. Right. So I have less time. But so we got a lot of names in here. Paul P, Don. Take a look at the screen. I'm going to put the screen up here. And guys, take a look and see if we've got your name. And if we're missing your name, I did put Chris Palmer on here because he really isn't a fixture of the show quite yet. So he is eligible to win. But I'm going to twist his arm because I liked him on here. So we're going to get you every Sunday. I'm going to, if I have to pay you, I'm going to get you on here. No, just kidding.
I was going to say, Daryl, there's a guy called Alex Buckland, who I know is from my group, and he did comment earlier on. I don't know if he's still with us or he was an anonymous Facebook user, but I know who he is because he came up in my group. So I don't know if you could add Alex Buckland. Okay. He certainly was participating earlier on. If I could put him in there, it would be great.
How you spell Alex B? Is that okay?
Alex B, yeah.
Okay.
And you make sure someone wins. I noticed some guys put in blank spots. You don't do that. You want somebody to win.
No, we want somebody
every week,
to win.
every single week. Yeah.
Every winner is chicken dinner. So so we're good.
If you're a winner, do you get to pick the one you want?
Yep. Why don't you flash these on here? You get to pick A, B, C, or D. Whether you're in the solar business, you're doing some higher techie, restoration prices. That is a great one. C, because home water damage restoration, huge niche. And people are always looking for prices and quotes and estimates and things like that associated with the word that they're looking for. So that's a good exact match. Localleadsites.com, and this is what we have this week for you to win. Okay.
Which one would you go for, Chris? What's your favorite there?
For me, it's either gonna be A or D.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
very good.
Yeah, I wonder, should we take a look and see what these are valued at?
Well, that's what I was just doing now.
He's already on it. Brilliant.
Did you see what they're valued at on GoDaddy?
No, I just started now, like in the background. I was looking at equity, like Like
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
I wouldn't probably take. Never mind. I won't say anything.
I'll tell you what's great about this is you guys can win a domain name, right? And then
Exactly.
you can build yourself a website. And these are the fundamentals: is build your website properly, and then focus on all the SEO and stuff that Chris and us guys do afterwards. But without building the physical foundations, the website in the first place with the domain name. I've known people who have built sites with 2-3 pages and what that'll do, right? But then they never rank and they wonder why. Google wants people when they search for stuff, they want your website to solve a problem. So when you type in that search engine, I need a gardener to cut my lawn, right? And your site's number one because you put an answer to a question in there, and people stay on your site and they give you reviews and stuff, and the click-through rate that's already been mentioned. All that comes together in the end to help boost you. But if you've got one page where it says I'm a gardener, the funniest time, Chris, and this will interest you. I went to a local Chambers of Commerce meeting in Crewcombe, where I live in the UK, and this guy stood at the front and he said, a single one-page HTML site will outrank any other site ever, right? And I said to him, I don't believe that's true, and he's absolutely adamant. So in the 2 weeks before the next meeting, I built a site with multiple pages in his niche, and then I built another one. I built 3 sites, right? And I outranked him on all 3 instantly. And when we went back the following time, I said, "Can you just show me how you're ranking? Because I'm keen to see." He brought it up and he had egg right on his face instantly.
I like HTML sites, but I wouldn't say that they're the creme de la creme of everything.
Yeah. But Dale's frantically getting all the values in as we speak.
Yeah. So localleadsites.com, according to GoDaddy, is worth $931. The windowsreplacing.com is worth $1,100. Higher Techie is worth $620 according to them, and tilesolarroof.com is worth $957. Now these are not based on the backlinks because these are all a lot of these have backlinks because I buy sometimes expired domains, sometimes I buy brand new ones, but they also have like history as well because I've had some of these in the inventory for a while. So yeah, all right. So back to our list here, and I have an MWB update coming up for you as well. So if you stayed on here to hear about MWB, Ian will have that for you coming up as I promised to do that. Okay, so Chris, your name is on here, so you can't spin the wheel. I think that we'll just say the first person that says spin inside of the comments and puts a little smiley face after their spin, we'll go ahead and spin it. So put spin and a smiley face, and we will go ahead and spin the wheel in your name on here. All right. So there's a little bit of a delay, but I hope you enjoyed the program. If you haven't, we got Evan in a spin. Let's go, Evan.
Spin that wheel.
Da, 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 da.
Is it going to be Dave?
It's going to be Dave.
Hey. Awesome.
Dave Stowers. Woo! All right, Dave.
I like the effect too. It's like
confetti. I know. It's a great website. I love it. It's called wheelofnames.com. I love this website. All right, Dave Stowers, go ahead and message us, buddy. You even told us spin. Go ahead and tell us what you want. I'm going to put them up on the screen here. It's tilesolarroof.com. It's hire a techie with the dashes, which I think is actually better than without the dashes, just because it's hard to spell when you have the A in there, just in the middle. But anyway, I would say, let's see, restoration prices is C, and D, local lead sites. Let's see what the guy says here. He says, Dave Stowers says, woohoo! All right. I love a woohoo on a Sunday night. So let's see, buddy. What do you think? Let's move.
There's always a little bit of a delay on these lives. So here we go. He said D.
TheLocalLeadSites.com. Congratulations. Let's get together on Facebook and we'll go ahead and we'll transfer that over to you. You have a 2-week period of time to get the transfer done. If you don't do it, it goes back into the batch to be given away to another contestant. So that's the rules of the show. But other than that, it's yours to keep. You just have to pay for the recurring costs. We don't charge you for anything. And these are all on GoDaddy, so there's no cost to transfer if you're on GoDaddy. A little tip for people that do buy domains and buy them from other people: make sure you have an account with all of the registrars. I know some people don't like GoDaddy or different ones. Doesn't matter. Get an account just to do the transfer, because it doesn't cost you anything. And if the domain is registered there like yesterday, you can transfer it without waiting the 2 months or whatever it takes to transfer a domain. So I have domains with everybody, and I just usually transfer it to my favorite, or I just kind of keep track of it inside of a tool and just make sure all of my renewals are auto renew. So that's the important thing to do. Somebody asked me earlier today, how much do I spend a year on domain registrations? Does anybody have a guess?
Oh,
What's your average ticket price? Can you say that?
For a sale?
Well, per domain, what's the average number?
Oh, my domains. Well, I have a lot of .ios, which are $35 a year. I have some domains that cost hundreds of dollars, like mass.page costs me about $450 a year just for that domain because it's a premium domain. But we have a few premium domains. So I would say the average is probably about $25.
So what do you spend, like 60 a year?
60 grand? Nope.
Yeah.
No.
More?
Less.
Oh, less.
Yep.
I would probably guess 5 to 6 grand.
A little higher.
I'd say 10K. Yeah.
Yeah, between 6 and 10K, depending on what I have in my inventory. And that's kind of my play money. That's just what I like say, okay, I'm gonna go after that. And I have sold domains sometimes for 10 grand. So just one domain. So I have about 400 domains at a time. And what I do is if it doesn't sell within a year or two, I get rid of it. And I get another domain. So part of what I'm doing with you guys is I'm saying, here's some domains, and maybe they haven't sold in a year or two. So go ahead and take them away. And maybe you can do something with them. So I like that, Don. 8,000. Are you in my GoDaddy account? Get out of there, Don.
I thought you had a whole boatload of them.
No, I don't do that many because I just feel like it's gambling. You know what I mean?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. And if you 1 year I'll get a huge windfall. Like I sold the domain earlier this year for 15,000, just one domain. So it's worth it to have, an inventory of them. Portfolio. But I'm not the kind of guy that has $1 million domains. I don't have, the big ones. And I wish I did. My God, you do one sale on those and it's like, you're set for a long time. So I'd like to get to that point, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah, I like the idea of buying up the candidates.
Yeah.
The names. I heard somebody say that. I don't forget who told me that they were snapping up like domains of people they thought were potentially going to be running and doing like 2024, I think is the year or something.
Oh,
and
yeah.
all the 2024, I thought that was a good idea.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, they usually use their name, but without the 2024. But if you can get that, that's kind of cool. Well, so anyway, let's go ahead and get yourselves a link to come on and join us. Chris, are you okay for a little while longer to take some questions?
Definitely.
Awesome. So we'll go ahead and we'll get that invite link set up for you guys. It's just going to take us a minute to set that up. Guys, do you have anything you would like to say while I'm setting this up?
Well, I was going to ask Chris another question. I think I know what the answer is, but it just might be worth sort of bringing this out from the discussion. Do you see any difference between SEO for, in quotes, regular websites and mass page websites, which obviously a lot of people are involved in the group? Do you see any difference, or is it just exactly the same, or any kind of perspectives on mass page SEO?
I mean, I've only dabbled with mass. So, I mean, I that's the kind of thing I would ask Daryl, but I would assume, I don't want to say because that's not really my,
okay.
that's not my
Don't want to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
I just, I mean, just from what you've seen of it, whether you had any kind of
from what I've
impression,
seen, it looks as though it's more like, to me, it was more of a spaghetti play. You're able to get out more to see what's going to hit and then go from there as far as optimization. Like I'm not going to sit there and optimize, 250 pages, but I'm going to launch them and then start making my tweaks from there, depending on what's being favored by Google.
Yeah, it's just getting that optimum, isn't it? Yeah, I was interested in Daryl's 200,000 pages though, but I need to have a speak to him about that, because obviously a lot of the time we say on the stream is obviously build things up, and I know I've heard Daryl say it, and I've heard you say it, Chris, on make sure you've got some authority, build it up over time, don't dump them all in one go. You've got to don't want to sort of scare Google off, and you have to get that click through, as you say. So that's something that we talk about. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to know how Daryl's done his 200,000. So I'll be good catching up on that.
I'm gonna do 10 million pages with this thing if it works. Yeah.
I have a brief question as far as that's concerned. When you're building out the mass page, you have a high commercial intent base of pages, right? And then how do you handle? Do you pummel it with internal linking, or do you not do it that way?
Link structure is probably really, really important. Your H tags are really, really important. Diversity of your H tags and where you place your most delicious content on the page. That's SEO delicious, and so it's a lot of it is just strategic things that we've learned over the years that it works the best, and also making sure that you add value so that when the user gets to the page, they either get their biggest question answered very, very well and in-depthly as early as possible. And if you can build in some tools and things like that, it even makes it even better. Any kind of dwell time thing, whether you have a really engaging video, you have a tool on there, you have some really great content right at the top, some frequently asked questions or whatever it is, you get right to the point. That's the things that work sometimes the best when you're dealing with a lot of pages. But to answer Simon's question about the 200,000 pages, yeah, that shouldn't work, but we're doing it across hundreds of domains. Okay, so it's not like we're using one domain and throwing 200,000 pages on it right away.
Right. Okay.
And we're using a lot of scheduling and things like that to kind of drip feed. And some cool things we'll show you on the webinar. I'll get the link to the webinar coming up.
Sounds good.
Daryl, is that how you? Sorry, guys.
So no, go on, Chris. You're our guest. You carry on first.
I just want the question. So, is that how you set them up, though? When you're doing mass page, you have a high commercial intent with supporting content, or is that not how you initiate these mass pages?
I mean, the way I build out mine, my with the done for you that I've been building with Robert, we create the X field which we can change X field location. So you have keyword times location on the magic page, and then as much content as you physically can fit across it. So in the case of like our garden one at the moment that we've built, we've got I think, if I remember right, 8 service pages with content on them. Those 8 service pages are transferred to the magic page, spun, and also have the location X filled in as well. And then we do the schema on it and the SEO as well. And the great thing about the new Magic Page plugin, before it built them dynamically. So for those that are watching that don't understand that, the page would be created when someone visits the URL, which meant Google wouldn't necessarily know it was there unless it was in the sitemap. With the new version, it builds the physical pages out now, so you can build 250, 1,000 pages, and as long as the content is unique, and, in my opinion, spun, and you've got keyword times location on there throughout the page, you're going to do really well with ranking them. And answer another question as well. I would build one of these types initially, then I'd build a copy of it elsewhere and a copy of it else, and have like 20 copies and see which ones do the best. And like you said, Chris, then you work on the ones that are doing really well and SEO them better, add more content, push those ones up, and then look back at the other ones. And the ones that aren't doing so well, you either leave them alone for a bit longer, or you do a little bit of work on them. But it's boxing clever. When you're a one-man band and you haven't got, like we've got teams behind us who can help us, but if you haven't got a team behind you and you're on your own, you get overwhelmed with the whole system. I mean, that's why we built the Done For You sites, to stop people from getting overwhelmed with all the different products that are out there, all the tools that Darryl has and Mike Martin has, you know, and the advice that Simon gives with SEO and yourself. It's all fantastic, but I know people that don't even get off the mark when it comes to mass page. They don't start.
Yep.
You know, that's why we built the Done For You. So get you started so you know what you're doing, and then move on to the advanced stuff. Move on to all these amazing tools. Siphon's fantastic, seriously. You know, when you, and I'm not just saying because Daryl's on, I've said to people privately this, that, you know, you can put a keyword and it generates content for you. It's amazing, you know, and there's just so many different tools out there, but it's getting the building blocks down in the first place. That's what I always say.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I think Chris, you use Siphon as well, don't you? You familiar with it?
Yeah, I've been messing around with it. I like it. I mean, I think I was using it really wrong at first, but Daryl schooled me a bit on it. So
yeah, awesome.
Hey, I'm an honest guy. I wish it would spit out more content.
Yeah,
right.
Like, and that's the tough thing. We're working on that, but the only way to do that, Chris, is to queue it. So it takes time to do it over several batches, because we have to like take a section, do a section, do a section.
Right. That's where I was screwing up.
And so like so if we can do that with the programming, you might have to wait longer for the results, but that makes it more difficult to do an API where people want like their results right away. They want the results fast. So we have to find that happy medium. And but I think queuing is good. Like, I just was using Article Forge the other day, and I was like, you just got to wait for it, and it doesn't bother me. I'll wait for it.
Yeah. I don't ever, you know, a lot of these indexers that I was using, that's where I first was. That takes a whole day almost.
Right.
You know, I'm like,
If you put them on as a batch, I mean, if you can put on 10, 20, you know they're going to come through. You don't mind doing that. Yeah, that can be in the background, come back to later on. It's no problem, is it? It's part of your workflow. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that might be the solution. So we'll get to that. But we're working on a few things with Siphon to make it be able to handle more content. And the summarization. Well. Yeah, it does read well.
It reads very well. Yes.
Yep. So, all right. So go.ht/guest. If you'd like to join us and ask Chris Palmer a question live here, we'd love to have you guys do that. And he is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to SEO, when it comes to affiliate marketing. I'm going to ask you a question about affiliate marketing, because it's, you know, affiliate marketing, I've never been great at, but I'm starting to love it, because it's very much passive income once you have the traffic. And, you know, this Mentorprise and, you know, some sites that I've just kind of messed around with, mostly with local SEO for the mass page stuff. I've always been lead gen mostly, let's just say. So I'm getting like really, really interested in the affiliate stuff more and more. So my thought is I only market recurring revenue affiliate deals, unless it's like a really big windfall, you know, $300 or $600 kind of thing. I usually want it to be recurring every single month, because that's, I feel like, how you build on a business, is that recurring revenue. So I was just wondering what your thoughts are on affiliate today in 2021.
For me, I like just straight digital products. So coupon codes is my biggest of all. I like just one-off, one sale. You know, like I was ranking number 2 for HostGator coupons for a very long time, until I was my dreams were shattered. I made a video on it too. I was really heartbroken, man. I did like a 3-part session of it. I was doing that with a G site, and then I came back again, and I was number 8 then, and it, you know, I was getting $25 per sign up.
You and I have to talk, because I got some traffic now. I need to know what to do with it. So yeah, let me in on some of your tips, and I'll show you off air what we've done with Mentorprise. And yeah, and I got another thing to talk to you about with CTR.
Digital is where it's at, though.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, I mean, you're thinking the same thing. Nothing. The least amount of hands involved. Yeah. There's nothing to fulfill. I just want straight digital product, and I don't like the recurring, because I mean, I like recurring, don't get me wrong, you know, for myself, but as far as someone else, I want it I make a sale, I get paid right now. That's it. Okay, the next person I get, okay, I get paid, whether it's $1 for an email or $2 for an email or 50 cents for an email. Like I was working with like crack revenue a lot. I was doing these content lockers on Instagram. That's where I really started.
Wow.
I was cooking on Instagram, man, for a
Oh,
while.
wow.
$1 a sign up, $1 a sign up. You know, that was really nice. But yeah, I like digital products. I like to get paid right now for whatever it is, because, you know, for some reason, stuff always gets mixed up. Even with big brands, I've came across this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the money always gets, you know, dabbled. You know, like it's first click attribution, and the next thing you know, like I'm like, wait a second with this, and there's always an issue. I want to get paid right now. I send somebody, I get paid. That's it. The least amount of hands, no nonsense. That's what I like. And big brands, like you were saying, like HostGator is cool. Like no flybys.
Right. Yeah, startups and things like that. Yeah. Awesome.
Chris, are you fussy at what you promote? Because I am. You know, there are internet marketers out there, in my opinion, that are right crooks that release a product and 6 or 7 months later it's gone. But you spent, like, you know, in the funnel $1,000 in the end to get to the end result. And I'm someone, like, with all the products I do, and I know Dale's the same and Mike Martin's the same, that we want to support these products long term. So are you fussy when it comes to some of these products and what you're putting out there? So you want to know, obviously, if you put your name to it, you want to know it's going to be around for years to come.
100%, and know that the person behind it cares. You know, like I've recently started dabbling, and it's like you almost feel bad, like, well, hey, just stick with me, because you want to make sure the person behind it is solid behind the offer, definitely, without a doubt. Because I see a lot of you see it too. There's a lot of guys that come up with these magical tools, and it's here for 3 months. There's a big push, and then it no longer functions. I had a great tool. It was kind of like that. Like it would build out the Web 2s. You go to this site. It was awesome. And then all of a sudden, you know, 8 months later, it's gone. And I'm like, oh, no more support, you know? So yeah, I agree with you. It really depends.
Absolutely. You know, I'm someone. I released Leadgenmagic last year with the themes and the themes club, and then Elementor threw a spanner in the works, and I got that fixed. Then Magic Page plugin got revamped this year. They threw a spanner in the works, and then a few adjustments with the Magic form that Daryl's got, and so now. That's why I announced tonight I'm revamping the whole lot, but the people that got on Lifetime I'm looking after, and anyone who's got a great deal at the moment monthly, with including hosting, I'm going to look after you guys as well. Seriously, you know, anyone who's my customers, I want to look after, and it may take me longer than I want, but I always get to the end result, and we end up supporting you guys even better.
I get scared of that. I was going to do that Lifetime is brave. You know, that's a brave. You know, you got a solid tool like and makers when they're offering lifetime deals. I was like, man, that's hard, man. That's hard.
I just do lifetime. I just do lifetime at the beginning because I feel like whenever I've gotten onto a product early and they gave me lifetime and that's never available again, I just love that, because I feel like a company that, like, I've bought so many things over the years, hardly ever from JVZoo, but from AppSumo, that almost are business life-changing for me to have a lifetime deal for it, because one, you don't have to pay the price, and two, it's such a big part of my business. I use it all the time. And so you're like, oh my God, I'm going to give a shot at these AppSumo deals, because 1 or 2 out of 10 is going to be life-changing for my business. And it's going to make a huge difference. But there's going to be a lot of them I don't use, and I'm just supporting the product because it isn't too much to do to support the product. So that's how I look at it. I don't know. How about you guys?
It's definitely a gamble, isn't it? But it makes me feel like you're a bit of like an investor. You know, you're coming in at an early stage and you're putting in, admittedly, a small amount of money. But I mean, if 1 in 5 becomes an awesome tool. I mean, I didn't actually buy SE ranking on AppSumo 3 years ago, and I missed it. There was a day later I meant to buy it, and I've paid for that tool ever since, and I still use it now. It's a great tool. And but I bought plenty that don't work. But you know, having a tool like SE Ranking, Lemlist, there's a few others that are up there, and yeah, it makes it all worthwhile for some of the gambles. And I think it's great because you can buy into something, you see it develop, so you're kind of taking a view on not only what it does now, but the people who are, you know, the developers and the founders and where it's going to go. And I think, you know, if you spend your time, you can get some real gems. So yeah, I'm a big fan, but you've got to be careful.
When I released Leadgenmagic, every penny of that money was put into a spare bank account to support the hosting that I'm running and the whole product. I didn't touch one penny of it apart from reinvesting into the product. And I mean, talking about AppSumo, I bought a product off them 6 months ago that stopped working. I messaged them and they were brilliant. They came back to me and they went, "We'll give you the credits." They never argue with you. They want to look after their people. And I went and bought another product that did the job instead. So, you know, you can't say fairer than that with them.
I got a little story with AppSumo. They had their big sumo day this week or past week. And I was like, oh, I got to get this Fleek because I want to use it for a testimonial. So I went ahead and bought it. And I go ahead and put my email address in to redeem it. And I already freaking have it. So
awesome.
So I'm like, okay. So I went and asked for my refund, and I got my refund right away. But that's, I mean, I rarely ask for a refund, but when you already have the tool, you're like, what the hell? Why did I do that?
Yeah.
So
you and I were talking about Lead Scraper as well. It was another one. I thought, oh, it's brilliant. I found this thing. It scrapes GMB information, get the longitude, latitude. It's awesome. Get reviews. Oh, so I've just bought it. It's on AppSumo. That's great. And Daryl's going, oh yeah, that sounds brilliant. Let's have a look. Yeah, and then we work through, and I show him the page. He goes, oh yeah, I've already got that one. So yeah, it's in the collection. It's worth having a look through to remind yourself what you bought 4 years ago.
Yeah, I'd like to give, like, I would love to have a computer that people get to log into for about $300 a day just to have the tools that I bought.
Sounds good. You could put it in the wheel of names. You could do an AppSumo deal thing. Instead of domain, you could have
access to every tool I bought in the last 12 years.
Yeah. Well, they call it shelfware, not software, don't they? Shelfware. If you don't use it for a year or whatever, it becomes shelfware. So
yeah. Yeah,
did you notice how I moved Chris above us? And the reason being, when we got the form of 4 down there, right, and we put a question up, like happened to me one week where I had to poke my head above it. I noticed we were blocking our guest face off, and I thought it'd be better to block mine off. So I moved Chris to the top. Yeah, got to look after our guests on here.
Simon, do you like that SE ranking? You like that white label reporting? I really like that.
Yeah, I do that, and I use that with clients. Yeah, it's really nice. I think the tracking is very accurate as well, and it's a good value. I mean, you know, there's obviously SEMrush and everywhere else. I know you're a big fan of SEMrush, but in terms of value and you know, client reporting, white label, it is very good. It's a good proposition.
For sure.
So yeah, I'm
trying to get on with them actually. I've been like,
I'm an affiliate. I recommended it and made some people, you know, sort of affiliate commissions on it. So that's a good one to have too. So yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, they're
That's
cool.
awesome. And Chris, you working on software? You got something in the works, or a couple things?
I am working on software. I'm working on a tool called Article Extract. I'm just trying to get free content, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's to go back on the point with like the lifetime deals and tools and the guys behind it. You have to really love what you're working on, because it is certainly a labor of love. Without any shadow of a doubt, man. People don't. I never realized how much goes into a tool. There's a lot that. Man, there's a lot there.
Yeah. Work. There is. There's technical.
Like,
there's
like
marketing.
this and this. It's like, oh man, I want to go back to the HostGator affiliates. You know, it's tough, man. Very tough. I like it though. It's fun.
I love this question from Robert. He says, you have to feel for the new people hearing all of this great information at the same time, wondering, how do I start one step at a time? And it isn't easy in any business, you know, it's like all the tools that are out there, you can feel overwhelmed, you know, and you know, I always say, keep it super simple on training, on everything I do. I like to keep it super simple. And if someone still doesn't get it or they're struggling, I will even give them a call. I'll jump on a call with them if they're a customer of mine and give them an hour of my time to bring them up to speed to where they need to be. You know, I've met people who have felt very downhearted and deflated. In fact, Robert was when I first spoke to Robert, I gave him a half an hour free call. He was about to give up. And then he started paying me to mentor him, which then led on to him doing amazing work with all the tools that he's got. That then led on to me working with him with the Done For You themes, and he's doing great now in lead generation and everything else with that. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm so passionate for our customers to want them to succeed. I want reviews from people to go, yeah, Steve Brockers did this for me. He was fantastic, and I'm making money out of it. I did a poll on the other day on one of the webbies I did, and I said to people, I said, but one, in fact, people do this now, but one in the chat if you're fed up with these webinars where the first half an hour is the bloke talking about himself, right, and then the next part is a little bit about the tool, then he talks about himself again, and an hour and a half later you're still waiting for the price. And one thing that myself and Robert did differently, we told the price within 40 minutes. The first 5-10 minutes was saying hello to people.
Yeah,
we showed the product and we did the price, and people loved it.
Have you taken a look at Mike Martin's book? I've
got it. Yeah, I've got it. It's in the house, and it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
He's thought of. We've done some webinars together. He's a good friend and everything, and I want that book from Amazon so I can give it a nice review. But I want to have it because I mean he's made so much money with webinars, and he does it in such a different way than a lot of the other people do it. So it's always great.
A lot of my tips and tricks with webinars I'd learned from Mike Martin. Every time he does a webinar, I go and watch it. Yeah. I've watched repeats of his webinars, and I've done it because one of the things I loved the most about one of his webinars he did was I think it might have been Lead Simplifier Magic Page Plugin. I can't remember which one. He went straight in with a price at the start. He said, "You're not going to pay this, and this. You're only going to pay this per month." And he told people before he showed anything the price. And I thought that was fantastic, you know. And in his book, there's a section in his book that you can fill in your own webinar. It tells you what to write down, right, to bit of push that out there. And if you go to Amazon, there's a video review I put up today on it, and I'm the first person to review the book, and I got an early. I'll be honest, I've got an early copy from Mike before it was released, and I read through it and told him what I thought about it, and I absolutely loved it. It was pretty much in a nutshell what I'd already learned from him. And then as soon as the paperback came out, I grabbed it. It turned up this morning, and I was reading it, and then I did a review on it.
Awesome.
I'm not just saying that because I am friends with Mike. You know, I'm not in a business partnership with him, but I'm friends with him. But seriously, it's well worth the read. It's only like $13. Yeah. And if you went to that link that I put in the chat earlier, you'll get all the information about how for $13 buying his book that you can then get a free copy of Magic Page plugin. And an individual license is $97 up front, then $5.99 a month.